What's up, nerds? This is Mr. Storm, and today I'm going to show you a little bit about buttons in Bootstrap. Now, you've created buttons in HTML, in business web page design, and now in advanced web page design, we're using Bootstrap. So I'm going to show you how buttons work in Bootstrap. So let's take a look. Let's go ahead and look at our learning materials here and see what we can learn. So first off is alerts. Alerts are basically exactly what they sound like. They're just indications to the user about something that's happening on the screen, and you can stylize them in any way that you want, make them look really cool. They're created using the alert class. So alert success, alert info, alert warning, and alert danger, and these are the four that you have: success, info, warning, danger. So here's an example of those alerts in use. So down here you have the alerts that pop up. Now, the thing about these is we can use JavaScript, which you guys haven't used JavaScript yet, but you will in the next term. But you can use JavaScript to have these alerts pop up whenever they're needed. But it's important to know how to create them. But actually, it's pretty easy. If you take a look here at the code, first of all, we're linked to the Bootstrap. And then down here, we just create a div with the class alert success, and then inside we put whatever text we want, and it automatically formats it for us. It does the CSS. Again, that's one of the greatest things about Bootstrap, is that you can just use these little shortcuts to get the desired result. So alerts are great. You can do alert links as well. You can make it a link. That's just as simple as adding an anchor element inside the text. You can have a closing button here on the end. That's pretty easy. You just aria label equals close, data/dismiss. You can dismiss the alert. It's pretty easy stuff. It's still an anchor element, so pretty easy stuff. So aria attribute. So to improve accessibility for people using screen readers, you should include an aria label close attribute when creating a close button. That way, if again, screen readers are for people who don't have visual acuity. They can't actually see what's on your screen, and they need the screen to be read aloud to them. So any weird elements that the screen reader doesn't recognize is going to throw out weird results. So you want to actually have this aria label so that they know that that's a close button. The and times is it's HTML, and it's the preferred icon for close buttons rather than the letter X. You want to use this icon instead of the letter X. We can make our alerts animated, so we can fade in our alerts. So let's run the page again. It's kind of hard to see that it's fading in. Let me bring this up more. When closing the alert message, that's what we're doing. So it fades out instead of closes immediately. See that little fade? That's nice too. That's fun. There's some exercises down here. Please try those out so you can get used to or practice using alerts. All right, next, buttons. So buttons are actually really easy. And you can make some really nice looking buttons in Bootstrap. So really we're just going to use a button class, btn class. And there are a lot of different classes depending on what you want to create. This is the basic button, default, primary, success, info, warning, danger, and then you just have a link button here. So here's some examples, just like we had on the last page. And you notice that when we call this or when we link this class to the button, we have to create a button element itself, set its type to be button, and then the class is button or button default, whatever. And then you put the text, whatever you want to be inside the button, right there. So these buttons are really easy to implement, and they do all the work for you, which is really nice. No. You can make them big or small. You can have block level buttons that go across the entire screen. You can also set it to be active or disabled. so that, you know, if it's disabled, you can't click on it and you'll get this nice little, your cursor will turn into this little no symbol. That's fun. Again, try the exercises down here because they're really, really helpful. Button groups. Let's take a look at the button groups. So these are really nice. This allows you to have a kind of helps with your navigation if you're creating a navigation menu at the top of your screen. But a button group allows you to have a bunch of groups together in a group. And really all you have to do is create a div, put all your buttons inside the div, and then call the class btn-group. And it will group them together. It's a really nice looking way to do it. You can also make them large. You can have a large button group, small buttons, extra small buttons, just, you know, whatever you want to do. It's up to you. You can have a vertical button group, and all you have to do is just indicate that it's vertical. You can have justified button groups. Justified is basically it'll take your button group and it'll extend it to the entire width of the screen or the width of the container that it's inside, which is really nice. Let's see. You can have buttons inside of a button, so you can have a drop-down menu, which is really nice. Honestly, button groups is really all you need for your navigation for your website. You can have a split drop down, so you can have, I can click on Sony and that'll take me there, or I can hit the arrow next to it and see the other options. And again, those are there are exercises down here you can try out. Glyphicons. Let's look at glyphicons. Glyphicons are really cool. So glyphicons are icons that are web friendly, and they're pretty universal. So you can use glyphicons in your page to, you can use them kind of as buttons if you want. You can use them just as decorative elements. So let's see. This is just the icon by itself. This is the envelope icon as a link. This is the search icon. This is the search icon inside of a button, which, you know, I'm sure you've seen a lot. Print icon inside of a button. So really the cool thing with icons, with the glyphicon specifically, is that if you notice up here, let's go back. Let's look up here. So all you have to do is call the class glyphicon and then the glyphicon slash name. So whatever the name of the glyphicon you're looking at, and check it out. There are 260 glyphicons that you can use, and you just go to the website and look it up. There are tons of them, right? So you can find tons of glyphicons that you can use, and you just call them by name. Whatever you want to use, you can throw that in there. These are really cool, really fun. And then badges and labels. Badges and labels are, well, I mean, they're kind of like icons, but they're changeable. So this is like when you get an alert on your phone, like an alert next to your app. They're just indicators, they're numerical indicators of how many items are associated with a specific link or a specific button. So you can see like how many things are inside this subcategory. Labels are just another way of kind of expressing text inside of a, you know, like this is a label right next to it, which is fine. It's not a button, but it's just kind of a visual element that draws your eyeball to that element on the screen. So there are a lot of cool things you can do. These labels are fun too. There are a lot of cool things you can do. Go through these lessons, really dig into it, do the examples, do the exercises. And then the assignment is for you to create a single page with an alert, a button group, a glyphicon, and a badge. Okay? So you would go into CodeWriter. First, you want to make sure you link properly to the CDN, which I cheat. I always go to the Get Started page, scroll down until I find that right here, the Max CDN. I just copy that, paste it right in. So anyway, implement these elements on your page. When you're done, send me the HTML. Save it, send me the HTML, or put it on Google Classroom, upload it to Google Classroom, and you will be done with your assignment for the day. If you have any questions about buttons, the button groups, the glyphicons, the badges, you know, the alerts. If you have questions about any of those stuff or any of those things, come talk to me, and I will help you try to understand it a little bit more. But that's it for me. Please have a good time with this assignment. Have fun with this assignment. This stuff is, look, Bootstrap is only going to make your life easier as a web developer because a lot of this stuff is shortcutted. You don't have to figure out how to make things look the way you want them to look. You can just utilize things that are already built in, which is why Bootstrap is really, really great. So enjoy this. Have fun with it. And I will see you next time. Thanks.